For PokerGaming.com, this is James Gwill. Event number 35 of the 2010 World Series of Poker was the $10,000 heads-up no-limit Holdem Championship. Now, this field was capped at 256 players, and the event sold out with 256 players looking to take the bracelet and $625,682. Now, the first day of play consisted of 2 rounds, and the field shrunk from 256 players to 64 players. Among those in the field were Phil Ivey, Vanessa Russo, Scott Clements, Bertrand Grospellier, Phil Gordon, Barry Greenstein, Andy Block, Chris Ferguson, Gavin Smith, and Josh Aryeh. Phil Ivey's match actually only lasted 2 hands, as he was quickly all in against Michael the Grinder Mizrachi with Ace-Jack against the pocket nines of the Grinder. Ivey proceeded to catch an ace, and the Grinder was knocked out. And day 2 saw 3 rounds of play, and the field was cut from 64 down to 8. Phil Ivey failed to advance to the Elite 8, but Vanessa Russo, Faraz Jaka, and Jason Somerville all advanced. Jason Somerville. Day 3 was supposed to be played out to a winner. First, we had to get to the final heads-up match. Vanessa Russo was the last player eliminated short of the final 4. Faraz Jaka was also knocked out in Elite 8 play. The final 4 consisted of Alexander Kostritsin, Jason Somerville, Ernst Schmetkel, and Ayaz Mahmoud. Both Kostritsin and Somerville fell in Final 4 action, leaving Ernst Schmetkel and Ayaz Mahmoud to battle for the bracelet. The first match started at 10:45 at night, and it lasted until after 5 o'clock in the morning. The 2 battled back and forth, and both held the lead at one point or another. The turning point of the match came when Mahmoud was trailing Schmetkel by about just 130,000 in chips. On a flop of 7 of spades, Queen of Hearts, 5 of Hearts, Schmetkel check-raised the bet for Mahmoud to 700,000, and Mahmoud moved all in. Schmetkel made the call and showed the Queen of Spades, Jack of Clubs, and was actually ahead of the King of Spades, 7 of Hearts, of Mahmoud. However, that was until the turn when the King of Hearts fell. This gave Mahmoud a pair of kings, and the river failed to bring a 3rd queen for Schmetkel, and he was crippled at just 130,000. He managed to double up to 260,000, but then was all in with just a 9-3 against pocket ducks for Mahmoud. The board blanked for Schmetkel, and the first match was over with. Now, since it was after 5 o'clock in the morning, Harris decided to halt play, and the 2 returned the next day at 7 p.m. Once again, this second battle was a long-fought battle between the 2. It drug on for over 6 hours, and neither really gave up much ground to the other. Then, in one hand, the match was over. Schmetkel raised to 250,000 pre-flop, and Mahmoud made the call. On a flop of the Ace of Hearts, 10 of Diamonds, 9 of Clubs, Mahmoud check-raised the bet from Schmetkel to 600,000 total. Schmetkel then re-raised to about 1.6 million, and then Mahmoud shoved. Schmetkel made the call and turned over the Ace of Diamonds, 6 of Spades for top pair. Apparently, Mahmoud had been shoving with just a pair of 10s, as he held the Queen of Hearts, the 10 of Hearts. Now, unfortunately, Mahmoud would catch lucky against Schmetkel to take this title. The turn fell the Jack of Diamonds, and now Mahmoud had a Broadway draw. Unfortunately for Schmetkel, the river fell the King of Spades to give Mahmoud Broadway, the bracelet, and $625,682. Now, for those of us that actually hung around to watch this match actually was very, very boring. I did my best to try to spice it up a bit, but watching heads-up play for 12 hours can get right darn boring, especially when it's when it's basically the same 2 players. Normally, these events are very exciting. However, this is probably the biggest snoozer that we've had this year. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Ayaz Mahmoud. He did great. He won his first bracelet and $625,682. However, it wasn't the most exciting form of poker we've ever seen. However, I mean, excitement doesn't matter. All that matters is winning the bracelet, and that's what Ayaz Mahmoud has done. He has taken the event number 35 bracelet. Congratulations. For more, stay tuned to PokerGaming.com as we bring you more coverage and recaps from the 2010 World Series of Poker. For PokerGaming.com, this is James Gwill.